I'd like to start by sharing a bold statement, and that bold statement is that I believe that Unleash is the future of healthcare. A lot of what Unleash is about is leaning into your fears and following your highest excitement.
Sometimes as artists, we just forget where the well is, and like, Unleash helped me find my well again.
You. I feel like I'm putting my best foot forward to contribute in the best way that I know how. And I know that what I'm giving the power for people to do is to contribute their best foot forward in the best, most unique way that they know how as individuals and as a collective. Dang. Boom. It wasn't until the age of 35, after a divorce, I wrote down exactly what I wanted to experience in my life. I want to be surrounded by artists, musicians, open-minded, world game changers, sexually expressed beings that are creative. And if we look at artists in general, they're definitely moving to a beat of their own drum. They're always innovative, always creating, always outside of the box, outside of the norm. And I had a sense inside of me that I was an artist, or I was different, but I hadn't quite allowed myself to be that.
Within moments of the beginning of the festival, Yarixa had stripped down naked.
I was there to activate the space and give the permission to go all out so that everyone could go all out, so that everyone could actually access their most free-spirited, liberated part of themselves. And that's where Unleash was born. It was an embodied experience that felt like my life's calling.
Breathing in with pleasure. Out with relief.
When I danced and my full body came online, one could have said in watching me that it was sexual, that it was sensual. And I felt the sexuality and the sensuality move through my body, but I had no thought about it. It just was. It was in its pure erotic innocence.
By the end of that initial performance, you could hear a pin drop in the crowd. And we were all just standing there with our mouths open, you know, like, what are we here for? And she proceeded to share some really intimate, vulnerable experiences from her childhood that just set the tone for the shameless environment we were entering into.
Give yourselves permission to be totally and completely free.
Unleash is addressing the psychological, the emotional, the spiritual, the mental, all in one, and for hundreds of people at one time.
I'd never been to a container where it was exclusively sober, also a closed container, so everyone that was there stayed the entire time, and it had an intimacy to it that I really felt safe to drop into a deeper version of myself and a more authentic version of myself. Everyone feels safe, and especially the women feeling safe. I think it's rare to be in an environment like that where there's so much stress on consent and boundaries, and everyone there is educated, everyone there is informed, and I think that really allowed me to let my guard down in ways that I hadn't before.
This is the first time, you know, it being seen or coming to light, and naturally that needs a space and a level of safety handled with care in order for people to move past their traumas integrate these parts of themselves in a healthy way. And I know Unleash is here to serve and support that. Intuitively, when I went into this, when I created Unleash and was set forward into my calling and my dharmic path, through the very thing I feared the most doing, which was explicitly dancing, it led me to birthing a whole movement. And this is what people will get to experience at being at Unleash. It's like they get to birth their own creativity and their own movements, and they get to be connected to a purpose, to people, to humanity, to caring more for the earth because they're more present, to actually being attuned and sensitive to what's happening in the world and how they can be a contributing solution versus adding more to the problem.
Remember, you have the power to awaken and rise into your truth at any moment. Your destiny is one of bliss because of the pain. Oh.
And now, let your body stir a little bit. Feel your feet. Feel your toes. Bring some movement into your fingers.